Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. The Attorney General shutting down a nonprofit run by a Minneapolis City Council member's wife. And nearly a week later, Council member Jamal Osman appearing to dodge several attempts by us to ask questions about the nearly $500,000 the couple allegedly took in federal funding. Jennifer Hoff has been following this story and joins us now with the latest.
So let's start with some of that money, Julie, because experts that we spoke with say it's unlikely that will ever be recovered, especially given some of the violations in this case accuse Ilo Amba of poor record keeping and never filing taxes. And while she nor her husband, Counselor Jamal Osman, are facing any charges and they really don't have to answer to anything, this saga isn't over yet.
But in one term, it's going to be an ongoing process.
Minneapolis City Councilor Jamal Osman was at Wednesday's Committee of the Whole meeting, but left after our cameras arrived.
Thank you, sir.
Coming back only to then leave for good before it was over, without taking any of our questions.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail.
We've tried to reach Osman several times over several days.
Councilmember Osman, this is Jennifer Hoff calling with KARE 11 again.
By phone and at his office after he was a no-show at the city's same meeting yesterday to ask him and his wife about her nonprofit called Urban Advantage Solutions that she started from this now empty downtown office in 2020 to distribute meals to children. Except Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison announced Friday he shut that charity down after it racked up several violations, saying Ilo Amba created it to direct funds to herself, her family members, and co-conspirators to the widely reported tune of $460,000.
Once the entity sees the writing on the wall that they're not going to win this one, that they'll say, okay, we're done, and pack it up and agree to do that.
Law professor Mark Osler is a former federal prosecutor and not surprised by Ellison's actions, who in documents also called the nonprofit a fraudulent shell company tied to Feeding Our Future, a scheme to exploit a federal program to feed hungry children during the pandemic that led to 70 people facing charges, many of whom are already convicted.
Regardless of how it's structured or what may be perceived as cultural differences, that's something that's wrong that government has to act on. I know to some people it might just seem like it's about money, but it's about the trust in government. It's about the trust in charitable instincts. There was a real loss there.
A real loss indeed, especially to the kids who didn't get the food they needed. Documents show Urban Advantage Solutions stopped operating in January of 2022, and then it was about a year later that it was one of about 24 related charities that Ellison sued. But when these charities dissolve, like UAS did, it doesn't preclude people from still facing consequences if there's enough evidence to do that, some of which will be playing out next year as several people who are already criminally charged in that Feeding Our Future case are expected to start standing trial. And Julie, that begins as early as February.
All right. We'll keep trying with Councilman Osman. Thank you, Jennifer.